And we got a ready from Mark. Look at that. These players just really saving the day. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Kind of rooting for, kind of hope both of these players win somehow. I don't know how that could happen. The tied scores on the kill screen? I don't know. Has that ever happened? Well, no, it definitely hasn't. I think I would know if it had. That'd be neat though, wouldn't it? I can't imagine how it would ever happen unless you manufactured it, kind of thing. But, it'd be kind of fun. So Pumpy Art flying the flag for Das in chat. Do we have Das players here? Is that the case? Check, I did actually check. Yeah, we got Mark PM on Das. NGC man also on Das. We got Das versus Das. Oh wow. Okay, now I'm more excited. Not that I wasn't excited before, but you know, everyone loves a Das matchup. Kind of interesting that we've got these two Das players, both 1.3 players by the way, which is insane to me. NGC man with a 1.2 from a 19 start with Das, like, and then Mark PM not far behind with a 1.1 from a 19 start. That is insane to me. Like, how players can have those scores. But yeah, what I was going to say is that like in Hopefuls we had like rollers and tappers, no Das players I don't think. Earlier today, just before this stream. Now we've got two Das players in... No, Futures is meant to be above Hopefuls, right? Like that's the case, like it's... What is it, like Challengers, Futures, Hopefuls? So, you know, I would say that's Das basically. You know, Das is still alive. Nice adjustment there from Mark PM to accommodate the Z piece that was coming. And a little bit of a hump in the middle of the stack, but the left is still higher than the right, so we're still kind of safe. Nice solid play from both players, and this is kind of what you tend to see with Das, is that like it's really kind of solid, good stacking, good moves kind of thing, until there's a mistake, and then it all goes wrong. Okay, interesting. Mark setting up the L-tuck. And what else could you put in there that would make sense? Not much, really. Just I guess you can do that, and then... Yeah, okay. Takes a few burns. Still Tetris ready though, and gets the Tetris. 312 for Mark, 337 for NGC man. But NGC man is 4 lines ahead, so we are neck and neck. Oh, we got people asking what is Das in chat, and that lets me kill a few minutes explaining it. So why not? So the way the pieces move in Tetris, you press the button, it will move one piece. If you keep it held down, there'll be a delay, and then it will move rapidly. So kind of like when you have key repeat on a keyboard, you press a key, it puts the letter that you press. If you keep it held down, after a short delay, then it starts repeating that letter fast. Same thing with Tetris. And then there are ways that we call that delayed auto shift in Tetris, and there are ways by kind of playing in particular ways, like where you can what we call do Das charges, where you can kind of remove that delay, and you always get it at least once. That's the thing, is that you can't entirely remove the delay all the time, so it requires kind of quite careful, quite precise movement, which is why Das players have a much harder time on, say, 19 speeds than rolling, as well as just, you know, Das has a particular speed that, you know, you can tap faster than you can Das generally. Like if you're a tapper, you know, your tap speed is going to be faster than the fastest Das speed. But the problem is if you lose that charge, that Das charge, and you have to wait for that delay is quite long. And so likelihood is you're not going to be able to get pieces where they need to go, especially at 19. Like when you don't have a DAS charge, you can't get a piece all the way over to the left more than like a couple of rows, you know, from the bottom of the stack. So there you go. There's a little DAS primer for you. And meanwhile, both players looking good, as you know, DAS players of this caliber would. 463,000 points for 113 lines for Mark, 550 for 120 lines for NGC Man. So great pace from NGC Man actually, and not a bad pace from Mark either. Certainly to be expected. We've got a kind of, you know, high 500 maybe. Can we get a 600 in there? Yeah, we could get a 600 from NGC Man if he can get these next two Tetrises. And certainly a high 500 pace from Mark if the pieces play ball. Indeed, they do have to be very strategic. And not that you don't have to be strategic with other styles of play, but especially with DAS. Like you see, now that Mark has transitioned, but he's kind of high, there's only so far he can get pieces over to the left, so he's going to have to sort of play very flat, and only certain pieces will go all the way to the left, and you'll see them make many more burns now than you would a roller or a hyper tapper. There's only so high that you can safely play with DAS at this speed. So like that triple that Mark just took was the safe move, because you know you don't know when the line is coming. Look, there hasn't been a line, and line comes just in time to get the Tetris, but if he hadn't have taken those burns, may well have topped out. Meanwhile, NGC Man doing pretty great actually. Oh, but then hangs that S piece, and is gonna wanna manage to get that line all the way over. So now has 3 holes to burn out. It's definitely gonna want to burn them out as soon as possible. And manages to set up a column free well while doing it, and banks it. 712,000 points for NGC Man. Takes a triple to burn it back down to the ground and re-establish the right side well. Tetris for Mark PM, 691,000 for him, so not far behind. Players are kind of matching each other, and Mark is a few lines, well, not many, but a couple of lines behind, so this is pretty even pace. Hey, no problem. It's what I'm here for. Just that's going to sound weird on YouTube, but I was just explaining DAS because someone asked in chat, and now they're thanking me because they're a nice person. So there you go. If only YouTubers like, oh no, I'm kidding. There's lots of nice people on YouTube, I'm sure. Yeah, Rye Chessmaster in chat saying this is peak DAS, and look at that. Mark PM with the clutch kind of line just coming just in time. Oh, and setting up aggressive there. And it pays off, but certainly that was a risky move. But yeah, keeping pace. Like, NGC Man, just really, really solid play. Amazing DAS play, in fact. Like, perfect stacking so far. Unfortunate with that line piece timing, but what are you going to do? Nice little pole vault with the L. Takes the triple because, well, you had to. But there we go. Gets a Tetris. 939. We're looking like we're going to see max outs. DAS max outs on game 1. Who would have thought? 974 for NGC Man. One more Tetris will be the max out, I do believe. There it is, A10. Max out level 28. We're not gonna. It's not gonna go too much further. But oh, the line piece not coming, and then finally it comes. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be another Tetris in there. There is not. Gets a couple of line clears though. A47 for NGC Man. So Mark gets the max out, but it's not enough. A05 for Mark. So double max out DAS game. First game of the stream. Like, geez, GG's, both players. Definitely peak DAS play. A few years ago, and this would have been like an ultra hype moment. I still think it is. Like, for the DAS players out there, they know how difficult that is, especially under competition conditions. But yeah, wow. Amazing performance from both players, but only one player can win, and that is NGC Man. Yeah, what a game. And yeah, NGC is ready to go straight away, as is Mark. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So I just got to point out here as well, Mark is number 1 seed, NGC Man is number 16 seed. How does that work out? The first seed versus the last seed, double max out DAS games. And the last seed is the one that's winning it. Like, that is, you know, that's surely got to be long odds on something like that happening. But yeah, what a hype first game. And as I think Vandy was saying in his stream recently, like, what kind of often happens is that you have these amazing amazing games, often followed by a not so great game. As you know, you got the kind of like the momentum, you kind of cooling down after that first game. You know, the nerves are starting to fray a little bit. So are we going to see that in this game? Not looking like it so far, but definitely a trickier start than the first game so far. Both players looking clean now though. NGC Man setting up for the square tuck. And yet, Tetris ready. Mark gets it first, gets that line, 140,000 points. NGC still waiting. Oh, and just gives up on waiting just as the line piece comes. Okay, ready again, and there you go, gets rewarded. There's the line piece. Waiting for another as well, actually. Still ready. Was kind of had, you know, more than 8 rows set up. And there we go, banks the next one, and is ready for another. Okay, got a T-tuck set up. There it is, there's the T, there's the line. Perfect pieces for NGC Man there. Oh, and that's a shame that Mark didn't wait for that one extra piece, but that's the thing. That's the other thing with DAS, is that you'll see fewer adjustments, because sometimes an adjustment would mean that you would lose that charge. So you've kind of, you know, the adjustments that you can make, you're limited to the kinds of adjustment that you can make without kind of throwing off your game when you play with DAS. And it's a lot trickier to make those adjustments. There's still a lot of adjustments you can make with DAS. It's not like you won't see adjustments, but you certainly won't see late adjustments with DAS. That's kind of a game ender if you decide at the very last second, you know, that you want a piece to be somewhere else. Likelihood is it's not going to go there in a safe way. Yeah, both players playing great, but Mark with the definite lead at this point, 326,000 points versus 269,000 points, and Mark is actually a few lines behind, stacking pretty high. Gets the Tetris, takes a single line burn to get ready for another Tetris, which he then banks. 373,000 points for Mark. Oh, nice T-tuck setup there from Mark as well. Love to see it. Tetris from NGC Man, 316. And another one, 339. So still a good kind of 60,000 or so points behind. But 60,000 points is really nothing at this stage. Nice stacking from Mark. Maybe a little flat. But he knows what he's doing. Takes the safety triple followed by a double. Because, yeah, that left side was starting to get a bit low. And now the right side getting a little higher than the left. This is dangerous, but gets the Tetris. Definitely wants to burn this off if possible. Okay, smart choices there from Mark to get safe again. And look at that. Oh, it does introduce a line dependency, but there you go. Gets the line to fill it in, and we're all safe again. Oh, hits the Z-tuck, followed by the Tetris. Kind of pro-level play there from Mark. And there we go, burns it off with that T, fills it in with the J. Mark looking good. 458,000 points for 102 lines. Pretty good pace. Both players, in fact, at that kind of 400k, 100 line point. So kind of indicating that they're going to get nice 500k transitions. And yeah, this is the play that I wanted to see tonight. Like, look at this. Just there's something about Das. Like, it's just really, you know, really pretty thrilling to watch, I'll say. I think the fact that the pieces move at such a regular speed really gives you a feel for what the limitations are with Das. Like, you know, you've got with rolling, like the limits are just so much so much higher. But I find rolling pretty exciting to watch, but it only really gets exciting post kill screen. Because, you know, people can get like pieces all the way left on level 19, like with only, you know, a couple of rows or whatever it takes. Like, it's kind of, you know, that the limits are quite often not being pushed. Whereas with Das, you can very clearly see that the limits are being pushed. The limits of Das, sure, they're lower limits, but, you know, they're constantly being pushed. And I don't know, I think it makes for an exciting game. Ooh, I wonder if, yeah, that's got to have been a kind of a misshift there from Mark, and now having to burn those out. Has an L dependency. Turns it into a line dependency. Kind of burning it from the top. This is a little tough for Mark. These aren't the best pieces. Yeah, this is getting very dangerous. Nice flat line burn. Ooh, nice pieces there. But I don't know what you can do for this. Needs an L, really. Yeah, I think this is going to be it. That's going to be it. But it's not over yet. 649,740 for Mark. NGC Man needs 650,000 and is in a similar kind of bit of trouble. Oh, gets the perfect pieces to get out of it though. And is almost burnt out of it, and almost actually has the score that he needs. Just take the triple, and yeah, the triple will do it, and then kind of cements it with a Tetris and takes game number 2. So yeah, I wonder if this is a situation where like NGC Man is playing so efficient and like really, really playing at the limits of what is possible with Das, and is clearly pushing Mark. Like, you know, when you're being pushed that hard, you have to go pretty hard because you can't necessarily count on your opponent topping out. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So if you know your opponent is playing, has got good pace, is pushing hard, and is unlikely to top out, kind of, even if it means that you have to play a little bit more aggressive, the smart thing is probably to do that. There's you know, unless you can count on kind of some inconsistent play, likelihood is if you just take it easy and just play the safe game, you're probably not going to win. You know, you might get lucky, but luck is, you know, not something you want to count on to win games, really. Well, you know, unless you're, I guess, playing a game of pure chance, but, you know. Yeah, 8Mansion8 in chat saying that Das play at the top makes me wince. And yeah, I think anyone that's actually experienced, you know, has played Das or has watched enough of it to have a good idea of what's possible and, you know, what the limits are. Like, seeing when you watch a game where people are pushing it like this, it's yeah, I know, it's exciting. It kind of definitely gives you that kind of, you know, anxiety-inducing kind of feeling. Oh, NGC Man setting up a kind of some interesting tucks here. Needs a T now. Oh, and kind of resolves it in an unexpected way. That was pretty neat. I think it's a shame, because the T was coming and it would have let him get the Tetris, but that was a cool resolution for sure. There we go, gets the Tetris, back-to-back Tetrises in fact, 166,000. Oh no, Mark is in a bit of trouble. Come on, give him the L. There we go, gets the L. That line is going to be good, needs a J, ideally. Oh, nice, nice. A line now would do, an L would also be good, or a J now. Just getting all the wrong pieces, but finally burns out of it. And yeah, we're talking about DAS play that makes you wince. That was definitely some of it. Yeah, Mark is out of imminent trouble, but not out of trouble entirely. But there we go. There we go. Now back to the bottom. Back with a mostly okay looking stack. Gonna have to take a couple of burns, but no big deal. 203,000 points for Mark. 257,000 points for NGC, man. NGC just, you know, really max efficiency for every game so far. Takes the triple. Knows, I guess maybe he knows that he's ahead and is 2 games ahead. Doesn't need to push it quite as hard, perhaps. But, I don't know. It does look like he's doing a little bit of kind of screen looking there. Or maybe just watching some YouTube. I don't know. I mean, I tend to watch YouTube while I play Tetris. That's probably why I suck. I mean, I'm more listening to it than I am watching it, though. Watching it a little bit, but more the listening. Okay, another Tetris for NGC, man. 357,000 points versus 284,000 for Mark. Oh, I guess I should have reported the last the forfeited game, but that's a shame. Yeah, so while I'm not concentrating as much, don't top out, please. Oh, okay, it looks like Pumpy already reported it. Nice. Oh, thanks, Pumpy. Assuming it was Pumpy. Okay, 423,000 points for Mark, 457 for NGC Man. NGC Man setting up the kind of, oh, nice adjustment there. So there you go. There's a prime DAS adjustment there with to accommodate that L. But yeah, NGC Man setting up some delayed burns, and yeah, stack looking good, nice and high on the left, especially as we get towards transition. You really don't want to be taking too many risks, and especially as if Mark loses this one, he's out. So, you know, Mark especially doesn't want to take too many risks. Not at this stage, at least. You want to kind of, you know, go into transition nice and easy, kind of establish a good kind of momentum. Yeah, NGC Man's board kind of not looking ideal for transition. Could do with a J. Oh, nice setup with that, with those tucks, but like it's getting higher, and this is a height that is going to be difficult to deal with DAS on 19. Notice the kind of stacking up those lines all the way left. You want to get a nice high left going into 19. Oh, now really kind of a really dependent board. Yeah, so Mark PM transition, he now has 539,000 points, 533 now for NGC Man, but NGC Man's board looking a little bit holy. But he's making his way down. It's happening. And you know, although the camera's pretty blurry, I can tell he's looking cool as a cucumber about this, like absolutely no sweat. Oh, and see that S placement, pretty smart. I don't think he would have been able to flip it, so it's kind of a neat kind of placement for DAS with that level of charge at least. Oh, and that's a little aggressive though. That's hopefully that works out. Looks like it will. Yeah, NGC man stacking, I've got to say, for this DAS stacking is next level for sure. Being able to kind of switch sides for the wells quite as easily as that. Really something else, but that has let Mark establish a true lead. 692,000 points for Mark, 610,000 points for NGC man. Though Mark's board, ooh, a little bit dependent, needs that line, and is still a little low on the right. There we go, gets the pieces over and gets a Tetris. He is safe for now. 729,000 points for Mark, 677 for NGC man. So yeah, Mark on max out pace. NGC man, oh, I don't know. Yeah, it could happen. Yeah. So we could be seeing another double max out DAS game. 831 for Mark, doing really nice. Still sort of maintaining that lead. 749 for NGC man at level 26. Takes the triple. Another Tetris for NGC man, 823. Oh, Mark's board. I don't know, that's not so bad. But, oh, setting up for the Centerwell Tetris. Unfortunate pieces, though. This is kind of, that is too many burns. Really. There's another Tetris in there. Oh, he's stacking. It looked like he was going to try for, you know, set up a few Tetrises, see if he could get a max out. Instead, tops out at 957 and simul top outs 859 for NGC. So Mark is going to take a game. His first game of the set. And stays in the game. Is not going to get swept. So GG's both players. Yeah, definitely. I think both players should be pretty happy with that performance. Like, it's again, like, these are kind of prior to Joseph, really. These are like all would have been amazing hype games at CTWC, but then, you know, then Joseph came and the new wave came and then rolling happened, and yeah, you know, it's changed a bit now. Things have progressed a little bit, but it is great to see top level DAS play. And it's great to see it in the future circuit as well. So yeah, we got a ready already from Mark. Just waiting for NGC man, and then we will be good to go. NGC man still 2 games up, still only needs 1 to go through. And fight TNI Saint. Okay, we got both players ready. That's me having a little moment. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Blimey. Mark PM's off the mark quick. As is NGC man, actually. So yeah. Okay, what should we have for music? Oh, no, I thought that was it over. It's not over. NGC Man's tuck and spin game is really kind of top notch, gotta say. Setting up a lot of tucks. Yeah, we're at that early kind of point in the game where, you know, hopefully nothing much is going to happen. So, you know, if you've got any interesting stories, put them in chat. Extra points if they're Tetris related, but, you know, it's not necessary. I've been, you know, talking of, you know, this is not an interesting story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. I've kind of been tidying up, like, around the house kind of thing. Like, got these boxes that have been in the house, like, basically since I moved into this house, like, however many, like, 15 years ago or whatever. And the boxes themselves weren't, like, you know, they weren't new at that point. And they're full of old crap. So I've basically been going through all my old crap and old backups and stuff like that. Getting... you know, pictures from like the 90s and stuff, like old photos and you know, old homework and stuff like this. It's odd. It's kind of a weird feeling seeing your life like that kind of thing. It's easy to forget, you know, stuff that happened like 20 years ago. Right, so Cwiiiis in chat saying that they once met Jimmy Savile. Is that for real? And Rocco Ritchie saying, I was in his house once. I got a feeling that these things didn't happen. Well, you know, what difference does it make, I suppose. Gerald Freeman says his grandmother met Oprah once. Oh, what was Oprah like? I can imagine she'd be quite nice, actually. She seems kind of nice. I don't know. I haven't heard any bad stories about Oprah. Okay, Rocco Ritchie was in Jimmy Savile's old, like, house recently, so, you know, he's been dead for quite a while now. I understand that you're not your grandmother, Gerald, but, like, did she not say anything about the experience, or was she just like, oh, I met Oprah, the end? Yeah, if you want to hear more of this story, you better like and subscribe. Gerald's grandmother definitely hot on the YouTube game, I'm sure. Okay, NGC Man in trouble, actually. Gets the T just as he needs it. Oh, quick taps that line all the way over to the left, and I'm pretty sure that was only just possible. So, yeah, wow. Some survival, but it's 120 lines. That's not many lines before transition. And gonna need some really good pieces to kind of guarantee this transition. Oh my god. Gets them, though. NGC Man absolutely saved by, well, was saved by RNG, and Jesus Christ, back-to-back Tetrises. What in the hell was that? Like, NGC Man absolutely should have topped out at that point and didn't. Just amazing survival. Now, can he kind of sort out his stack at this point though, because it's you know, sometimes that happens and you're still going to top out afterwards because, you know, the momentum of having to play that way with that kind of, you know, having to think about that kind of survival really impacts the game. But no, NGC man is totally fine. Like, absolutely, and so aggressive. Now, unfortunately, he has a hole, so that's only going to be a triple. But wow, just the survival there from NGC man. Unfortunately, it does kind of show in the score though. 487,000 points for NGC man, whereas meanwhile Mark at 650. So yeah, NGC is gonna kind of be hoping that Mark tops out for sure. That's going to be assuming that Mark carries on playing, keeps up the pace, keeps up the solid play as he has been. That's going to be difficult to catch up on. And I say that, and like, you know, he's almost caught up already. So I don't know. What am I saying? I need to not underestimate NGC man for sure. Though this spire is starting to get a little bit tricky. Oh, it really needs a line. And it's kind of, it came, but like, the stack is looking tough. Needs another line. Gets it. Then gets the line all the way over to the left. And look at that. Like, he's safe once again. This survival from NGC, man. Really amazing. Mark PM, still looking good. 750,000 points for Mark PM. 632 for NGC, man. So, you know, kind of an 150,000, well, not 120,000 point lead for Mark PM. That is going to be tough for NGC man to overcome. It's going to still want that that kind of top out to happen, but there's not many levels left. So, like, look at that from NGC man, playing so aggressive, and it's working out. Just trying to eke out those last few Tetrises. 802,000, actually only 90,000 points back at this point. Building high for a Tetris. Needs that line to come now. It does come. And another Tetris. 873, but now at level 29, there's only so much you can do here with Das, and Mark is ahead, so that is gonna be it. NGC man, valiant attempt. Like, Jesus Christ. You know, my heart's going, and I'm just sitting here. Like, but Mark is going to take that one. He's going to stay in, and he's going to force a decider. So we've got a decider. Everybody's favorite drink. Man, what a hype game. Like, GG's. GG's. And Jesus Christ, like, wow. What a game. Both players absolutely on fire, starting out with double max outs, and then like some of the survival there from NGC man's side, but then just the solid play from Mark's side, taking it all the way to kill screen. Or was he? Did he take it to kill screen? I think he did. I don't know. Close enough. Amazing play. Anyway, both players are ready, so we're going to count it down again. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Yeah, I really thought that that NGC man might actually make that comeback, I gotta say. Hey, excuse me. Just had to blow my nose. Okay, NGC man has It's very high up line dependency. Yeah, it does the sensible thing of burning it out. Just NGC man really giving just a masterclass of DAS, I've got to say. It's I'm learning stuff here. Gotta wonder how he's ended up as a 16th seed, but there you go. That's just how it is, I suppose. This is a decider though, so let's not discount Mark. I mean, Mark is #1 seed, the favourite to win, and has just played basically, you know, other than the kind of one sort of early-ish top out kind of thing, solid play for the whole time. And NGC man was 2 games up, so you know, the fact that Mark is still in it tells you what you need to know, really. Oh, a nice dirty Tetris there from NGC man on the column 3, sort of row 4 or whatever it was. Oh, NGC man getting trolled by RNG here. Oh, and then hangs that square and another square, and that is going to be it. What a way to go out. Like, trolled by RNG, hangs a couple of squares, and that is going to be it. DAS is a cruel mistress. And that is game over for NGC man. So Mark PM is going to go through. Gets the reverse sweep. Like, oh man. Heartbreaker, I gotta say, like, after all of those games, but it is what it is. It's what happens sometimes. Amazing play from both players, and I gotta say, especially amazing play from NGC man. Some of that survival and that almost comeback in that last game, absolutely stunning. But there can be only one winner, and it is the #1 seed, Mark. So he is gonna carry on to the next part of the bracket, and what is he gonna do? He's gonna play some games of Tetris with TNI Saint. So yeah, okay, let's switch back over to the pre-roll and I'll sort of sort out these scenes. Okay. We're back. We got 2 players. Oh, and thanks to the raid from Monthly Tetris 2. So if you're just stepping in now, we're playing round 2. The last game, or not the last game, the last set of this, the Future Circuit Orange bracket. We got Mark PM versus TNI Saint. Unfortunately, Ella was a no-show, so TNI Saint went straight through. So this is going to be TNI Saint's first games of the night. So that's a tough position to be in, like a warmed-up player versus someone that hasn't had any kind of games. Like, that's tough, but that's life. Okay, players wishing each other good luck. Nice to see the sportsmanship. Both players are ready, so let's not dilly-dally. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So we got a DAS versus Hypertap matchup here. DAS on the left, Hypertapping on the right. What's interesting to me, at least, is that Mark PM has a DAS, well, presumably a DAS 1.3, and TNI Saint's top score apparently is 1.2. It's a high 1.2, but it's a 1.2. So it's kind of interesting to see, the DAS player have the higher PB, although kind of not getting good pieces right now. So, oh, lovely burning though from Mark PM. It's a shame that the NGC man went out a bit early in that last game. I'd have really liked to have seen just another hype match. Gotta say, they were definitely good. It was a good matchup, good opponents for each other. 2 great DAS players. Okay, nice start from TNI Saint. Already hitting that 200,000 mark at 40 lines. Having to take some burns though. Now, yeah, going for the column 9. I was wondering if he was going to take the aggressive move. Oh, if a line came now, it would be a perfect well transition. And yeah, and just needs what fits in there, an S. Oh, okay, T-spin will do. Oh, misses the S-spin though. Just going to have to build a Tetris on row 2 to compensate, and there we go. A single line clear now will make that, restore that right side well. 269,000 points for Saint, maintaining the lead. 244,000 points through 60 lines for Mark PM, so just a single Tetris lead. And this is a great kind of side-by-side of like the kind of difference in feel between like a DAS game or DAS player and a Hypertapper kind of thing. You got that with DAS, like every movement is just so uniform kind of thing, you know? Whereas with the Hypertapping, there's kind of a squirreliness, if you know what I mean, to it. Like the piece movements aren't kind of completely uniform in speed. They don't all happen at the same time kind of thing. Like with DAS, because of the way charge works, a piece is moving as soon as it enters the board, and then it stops as soon as it gets to the place where it needs to be. With Hypertapping, the movement can happen whenever you want it to happen, I suppose. I mean, it's a less uniform looking movement. And that is, I suppose, the one thing that Das movement kind of has that is quite satisfying that none of the other techniques really have. I mean, rolling kind of is like that in a way, in that like at least once you get past the kill screen, that you have to play as fast as possible, which does include moving the piece as soon as it gets on the board. But with Das, it's just so uniform, so satisfying. Probably says something about me that I find it that satisfying to watch, but you know, I don't care. Okay, Mark PM has that single kind of column of or row of junk to burn out, and he's not taking any chances when we're within 15 lines of transition now. You don't want to be dealing with that. Like, these things can spiral quite easily. And yeah, 12 lines away now from transition. And 10 lines for TNI Saint. Tetris, and there's can get another couple. And TNI Saint has a pretty considerable lead at this point, almost 100,000 points. 556,000 for TNI, 460 for Mark. Rolling does have satisfying sounds. You're definitely correct there. I've got to give it that. That kind of rhythmic tapping is very satisfying to hear. Oh, Dirty Tetris for Mark. After transition, 531,000. Not something you often see on level 19 from Das players, but the opportunity raised its head and he took it. Okay, needs a line now though. There's a bit of a shift mistake there. And yeah, Mark's board looking tricky, looking dicey. Gets the tuck. But this is a real test of survival. Needs some specific pieces, and I don't see this happening. Going to top out at 565,000 points. A bit just a little bit unfortunate, but that's how it goes. So the heart goes to TNI Saint. Game 1. It's a strong game to get. It's definitely, if you can get that first game, it's a big kind of boost in your confidence, because you only need 2 more and you've got one that you can give up. And thanks for the follow from the AC Monkey. Okay, both players ready again. Let's do this. Just ready to just go straight away. 3, 2, 1. Tetris. This current track has a very kind of Atari feel. Like, sounds, got that Atari arcade kind of sound, or Atari kind of 7800 with the pokey in the cartridge kind of thing, if you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't worry about it. Kind of a little bit like a Ball Blazer. You can look that up. And yeah, if you're wondering about the music, this is Flex Style. Type in !Flex Style or !Music in chat, I think. It'll tell you all about it. If you're listening on YouTube, check them out on Bandcamp. Okay, another strong start from Saint. 159,000 points through 28 lines. Make that 182 through 32. It's got a kind of hard dependency there. Decides to immediately just fill it in. Doesn't want to mess around. Takes the triple. Going to now build off of row 2. Ready for a Tetris. And gets it. Oh, interesting. Doesn't choose to set up for the Tetris there. Just looking to burn it back down to the ground. Doesn't want to get carried away with this kind of, you know, dirty Tetrises on row 2, I suppose. Although it does look like you're going to build one more. At least one more. Maybe 2 of those, kind of that weight getting added on top of the hole. RNG doesn't want him to burn out just yet. Huh, see Talentless in chat saying, how's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? I hope you're all doing good. I'm doing alright. A little bit tired. It's getting a little late here in the UK. Not that late, 20 past 11, but you know. I feel like I might have a little cold coming on, I don't know. Let's see, I guess one of the dangers of teaching, you know, people come and they just give you all their germs kind of thing. Elp just woke up from a post-dinner nap. That sounds like living the life, for sure. And Talentless is 20 buds in, I like it. I could really go for a drink now, actually, but it's too late in the day now to start. Just ordered some whiskey stones earlier, actually, as it happens. Any whiskey drinkers in chat? Okay, Mark filling in that line dependency on column 3. And now just kind of getting Tetris ready. There you go, Tetris ready. Just waiting for that line. Building out the left. Taking a skim. And there it is. Could do with an L now to kind of... oh no, gonna just burn a couple lines and fill it with the J instead. Makes sense. Got some whiskey chat now going on. Saying mystical midgets for Canadian club. No, I've not had that before. Skip logic with Bullet Ryan McCallan 12. I'm not sure what my kind of favorite whiskey or even favorite type, to be honest. It really depends on your mood, right? Like and it's I quite like a bourbon just because it's always easy to drink, but you know, if it's late at night and you just want to have a little nightcap, I do quite like a scotch. Trying to think what I've got open, and I think just a bottle of Glenlivet or something like that open at the moment. Ooh, TNI saying hanging the J, but kind of making a tuck that makes it look almost intentional. Just needs a line now to fill out that left. And looks like, yeah, looks like he's gonna build it into a Tetris well, and it's ready. Just needs that line. There it is. Left side Tetris off of row 2 and transitions at 583. And there's one of those moves that you can do with hyper tapping that you'd be silly to do with DAS. Good scotch is expensive, although a lot. I mean, I'm in the UK, so probably a lot less expensive over here than presumably. I don't know, are you in America? Presumably, in that case, probably a lot more expensive there than it is over here. Like you can get a good, like an actually good bottle of scotch for, you know, like £40, I guess. Like over here, like, you know, like actually good kind of thing, not like a. I mean, you know, you can get okay, like decent for less, but. Like properly good, 40 quid. Sometimes less, actually. Yeah, I don't know. But like that, I'd say like if you're paying like that amount, you can get like a decent bottle, and you don't have to look too hard, kind of thing. And that, what's that in US? Like $60 US, something like that. A bit less, probably. Oh man, I don't know Australian dollars, so you're going to have to help me out with that conversion. But yeah, we've transitioned. Let's stop talking about whiskies and let's start talking about Tetris. 581,000 for Mark. 750,000 for Saint, though. Like, Saint really steaming ahead at this point. Very nice pace, in fact, for Saint. I mean, we saw, earlier on in a Hopefuls game, though, we had a level 25 max out. And when I say level 25, it's really level 24. Got the Tetris on level 24 that took her to level 25 and got the max out. Insane pace. But, you know, it's not always about the pace. They didn't end up winning. So, did win that one game. But, like, I don't think I've ever had Johnny Walker, so I don't know. I mean, like, if I want, like, a good, like, the good kind of go-to is always Lagavulin, right? Like, tastes great, consistent, bit expensive, but not too expensive over here. But I quite like a lot of, like, the just kind of name brand scotches, like, you know, Glenfiddich, Glenlivet, Glenmorangie. Okay, Mark is looking great. 840, make that 874,000 points, but it's not enough to get ahead of Saint just yet. He's gonna have to, yeah, well, he's gonna have to play pretty aggressive on level 28, I suppose. Lovely tuck there from Mark, and Tetris ready again. Needs a little bit of luck. Yeah, gets the line. Okay, A34 for Saint. Is this doable? I think the next Tetris is going to be it, right, for Mark. So unless he builds up another one. TNI Saint has topped out, but yeah, with that J on the left, I don't think it's possible for Mark to, nah, that's going to be it. But an excellent game. And TNI Saint takes game 2. So TNI Saint on fire, actually, and you got to kind of give him extra kudos for this being the first, set of the night, having, been stood up for their first set, for their first proper set, automatically went through, but showing that they deserved to go through anyway. GG's, and some more great DAS play. You'd love to see it. Okay, we got 2 readies, so let's count it down. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So Skip Logic in chat saying that Glenfiddich is too peaty. I mean, I don't know. It depends what you're in the mood for, right? Like, I think with Scotch, they're all like a good Scotch is going to have a bold flavour, right? So it's kind of, it's very subjective, and it's what you're in the mood for, I suppose. Like, I kind of agree, like, it is peaty, but, like, sometimes you just want some of that. Like, and, sometimes you want something smoky, and, just sometimes you're in the mood for something a bit complex, I guess. And then other times you're not, and a bourbon's great. I quite like just, the sweetness of a bourbon kind of thing. Like, if you're not in the mood for anything too complex, you just want to have something nice and warming. Gets you a little bit drunk, Oh, I do like a Lafroig, yeah. Anyway, this is Tetris chat. This is not whiskey chat. Let's go back to the Tetris. A tough start for Saint there. Was looking like he might be in a little bit of trouble for a second, but it's resolved fine. And just needs like an L now would be ideal. It just burns it out with the T, that's fine too. I mean, all this whiskey chat, I'm almost certainly going to have a whiskey when this is done. Just got me in the mood now. And probably a scotch, I think, as well. Like, not, I don't think it'll be a bourbon. Like something, just a small measure kind of thing. Nice little pre-bed drink. Little nightcap. You know, if I've caught a cold, just to kind of smoke it out kind of thing. There you go. So Isabel's dad apparently going to have a beer at the bowling club. Like, are you at the bowling club now? Or is that a thing that is happening later in the day? Oh yeah, exact tie. Thanks for pointing it out, Smooth Motion. That was nice for a second. If Saint can get a Tetris now and not burn any lines, although that's not going to happen, is it? So yeah, never mind. That would have been neat. Is that a bowling club as well, as in like 10-pin bowling, or is it like lawn bowls? I'm going to guess it's 10-pin, but you know, I don't want to presume. Oh, it is lawn bowls? Like for real? Okay, Mark in slightly precarious situation, but burns out of it fine. Oh, nice. I've always wanted to try lawn bowls, actually. And I tell you what, like, this is good because I wanted to talk about 10-pin bowling, and it's good to know that I'm not going to upset someone that takes it seriously enough to go to a club. Like, is 10-pin bowling just, like, basically the worst? Like, it's, I don't know, it just, bowling alleys are always, like, depressing places, and bowling itself, like, 10-pin bowling, is not that fun. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like, I've always kind of thought that bowling is just a little bit depressing. Like, for me, like, the best part of a bowling alley was always just the arcade machines, anyway, you know? Like, the arcade games. Go there and play, like, Daytona or whatever. I guess that's probably not so much of a thing now with bowling alleys. Like, do you still get arcade games in bowling alleys? Like, modern arcades, not so great. Not to say that the arcade scene is dead, though. It's pretty cool. It's different from what it used to be. And it could, Dan, you're perfectly right. It could just be that I'm not very good at bowling. I mean, I'm not bad, by the way. Like, I don't suck, but oh, Kingpin, yeah, with Woody Harrelson. That's a good film. That's a fun film, and I think it kind of encapsulates bowling a little bit. Actually, a little bit sad. Okay, Mark transitions at 5:17. Very respectable. 5:01 for TNI Saint. Okay, Mark couldn't quite get that square all the way over and is now in this dangerous situation, but it pays off. Gets the Tetris on row 4 and clears out. Kind of wants to build out that left if possible. Yeah, has to take the triple, has to take the safe moves, and it has let TNI Saint get a little bit ahead. But can't afford to lose this game because he will get swept. If he loses this game, that's it. There you go, gets a Tetris. 624 for Mark, 653 for TNI Saint. So pretty neck and neck. And Mark with the better looking board right now, but also, you know, slightly behind in score. Oh, Talenters, you don't need to apologize for diverting the Tetris chat at all. Like, I'm always looking for diversions. No, it's once the game gets exciting, it's like that, you know, then we get back to it. And it is exciting right now. Mark is in trouble, but gets that Tetris. Now gonna have to spend some time burning, because that is a tough stack. Needs a J. Fills it in with the L though. That's good. Turns that into an L dependency. In fact, Mark is looking pretty good. Like, could do with yeah, something with 3 squares on the bottom. Going aggressive, and yeah, it's not necessarily paid off. Just, yeah, was waiting for that line for a long time. It took a long time to come. Yeah, meanwhile, TNI Saint still getting further ahead. Now over 100,000 point lead. 828,000 for TNI Saint. 724,000 for Mark PM. Finally gets that Tetris, though. Feels like it was a long time in coming. And yeah, just unfortunate with the RNG, I think. Like, just a long period for drought and, you know, wasn't getting good pieces. Now having to kind of waste pieces burning away, and oh, just that T doesn't go where you wanted it to go. And TNI Saint is not slowing down. 942 for TNI Saint, setting up for a column, whatever that is, 7. Well, Tetris is ready for it, just needs that line piece. Nice little T-burn there. Doesn't take the second. Finally, the line comes, gets a Tetris, 983, and transitions for TNI Saint. And that is, yeah, Mark is going to have to just see if he can, you know, set up for a bunch of Tetrises. Needs an L, and it's not going to happen. That is going to be it for Mark. And Saint takes the game with a sweep. So great games, great play from Mark, but unfortunately, Das was not up to the challenge tonight. And TNI Saint takes it. And yeah, very like Mark saying in chat, like TNI Saint so consistent, and it was true. Every game taken to kill screen, every game past 900k. Like, yeah, really great play from TNI Saint, but great play from Mark too. Great play from all of the players that we've seen today. Actually, great play from NGC man as well. But there can be only one winner, and that is TNI Saint. So let's have a look at this. There we go. TNI Saint gets the lovely pink bracket winner trophy for this Futures Circuit Orange bracket game. So well done to TNI Saint.